All right, cool. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching another episode of Dual Wellness with Max and Camille. Sounds weird calling her that.
Mom.
Mother. Yeah.
23 now. Max had his birthday last week. Yay.
Yeah, we said in every episode earlier, almost 23. Almost 23.
Now he's 23.
Now I am 23.
23, 56.
Only a year from 24.
Oh, jeez Louise.
But yeah. Thank you for watching though. Like, subscribe, comment. It really helps us out. We've been getting a lot of really great comments and feedback on our new videos, so we really appreciate that. Yay. Any new viewers, we really appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching again if you're a returning viewer too. So do you want to go over what our
what our subject's going to be today?
Yeah.
So speaking of comments, we've gotten a few comments and different comments from people that that I have spoken with and stuff like that, that have said something, have said that they really dug our energy and our relationship and how we, how we communicate and stuff like that.
Oh, you.
Oh, don't do So anyways, they, so I've had a lot of people ask me, I say things like, I hope that me and my kids are like that when they're adults, do you have, and then Maha, lovely Maha, hi Maha, she had commented and said something about, do you have any advice or anything for, so.
Well, I want to say real quick, so it's very simple, it's all fake.
It is not.
She's a hired actor. I do not know this person. This is all fake content.
Shut up.
It's
Anyways,
working.
Exactly. Anyways, and while I do not have advice because I don't believe that I have done everything perfectly. Far from it. I'm not the perfect parent. My husband is not the perfect parent. We have
just the results are perfect.
The results are pretty good. I've been pretty darn happy with the results. So it does, and that's the first thing. Have cool kids. Have cool kids. That is the majority of the battle.
And as you know, nurture versus
nurture. Your parents are pretty cool, so.
Yes, they are. Yes, I would say my parents are pretty dang
Yes.
cool.
So, so I thought I would just give a couple of things. I thought I would say maybe a few things that I did right, a few things that I feel like I did wrong, and then have Max weigh in on that. While this does not necessarily have to do, excuse me, with physical or mental wellness, I think that it does. It's context for for lifestyle, for who we are, for what has made us and helped us to be the people that we are.
And honestly, all forms of motivation and learning need to have context. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, why listen? Why do it?
Yep.
Unless you understand, I guess. So.
Yeah, tickling my throat. So, let me start off by saying, a few things that I feel like I did wrong as a parent. So
I'll be the judge of this.
Exactly. Yeah. One of the things I had 3 kids, all 15 months apart. So my stepdaughter and then my 2 sons, and stepdaughter being the oldest, and then Sam, and then Max, and they were all 15 months apart. I had I felt a lot of times like I had triplets. And I did in-home daycare for the majority of Max's toddler years and stuff like that. And then, rolling into the teen years and everything, I had 3 teenagers, which is always a challenge and stuff. But I was a screamer. I am not as much of a screamer now.
Not at all, no.
Not as, granted, a lot. So there's a meme that's out that makes some comment about how nobody listens to the mom until her head explodes. And then all of a sudden everybody's like, what? Why are you acting that way? I felt like that was my life for quite a few years. I screamed a lot. And that is definitely something that I regret. while I understand why I did it, I don't agree that it is the most effective form of communication. And it was, I could have worked harder at, I always found that when I lowered my voice, it was always more effective.
Yeah.
It was always more effective. When I got quiet and lowered my voice, that was when people would pay attention.
Yeah.
You know.
When I can say from the perspective of the one being screamed upon, that one, it's not like it was constant all the time, every day, and it's not like it was like mean screaming or anything like that. It was never like
name calling.
No, never anything like that.
Ever.
I can say for certain, I was a very challenging child.
Well, that was my other thing I was going to discuss.
Yes, I was a very challenging child, and so was my brother. And when you put us together, it was.
So was your sister.
Yes, Chase. We were all fairly challenging. We were all pretty wild. I can say for certain, I definitely did find some joy in pushing buttons when I was a kid. And, seeing what would happen. That was
reactions.
Yep. I was definitely an early adopter of like the internet and internet trolling probably.
Yeah.
Very different now. Very different person.
He is a very and now I do want to stress that while you were challenging and stuff like that, there was never ever a day, not one single solitary day, where the bad outweighed the good.
Right.
I mean, there was always, we never ever, we tried never to. We always apologized.
Yeah, no,
you explained.
You always explain. I think that's why I got to the point where you would yell, is because you would explain and you would try and sit down and like say, look, this is why you need to do this. Please do this. Please help us out a little bit and stuff like that. And I would still be like, nah, and not do anything. And it would be very like, it would be just things where it was like, it was just disrespecting pretty much. Or it was like, I don't really care enough to do that. Let them do that and stuff like that. I mean, I can say for 100% as a kid, I would purposely like do chores poorly to get my dad to be like, just let me do it.
Yes.
I would purposely do that.
That's normal kid stuff. It is. I mean, that's kids push the limits to try and create a boundary, to figure out where the line is. And that's our job as parents, to let you know, okay, that's it. Yeah. That's it. Now there's repercussions.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
So unfortunately, I would just cross the line over and over and over and over
and
again. I would try and push it.
Well, and that's my other thing. One of the things that I felt that was one of the things that I did right was I tried to. You can't say always, because there's no such thing as always in parenting. But I tried to, as much as possible, be consistent in all things.
Yes, yeah.
And now, and especially when you guys were little, I did not do the thing where, I did do the thing where I would give you opportunities to correct your behavior by saying, I'm going to count to 3, and then you can, if you correct your behavior, that's fine. If not, then there's this repercussion. So, but it was, I tried to never, I'm going to count to 3. I'm counting to 3 again.
Yeah, it was like, I'm going to count to 3.
I'm counting to 3.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Right. It was if I had let you know what the repercussion of your actions were, I had to make sure that it was something that I was willing to carry out that punishment. Right. I never said anything like, you're grounded for 3 months. Because
never mind.
That would be hellacious for me.
Yeah.
And B,
I think the most I ever got grounded once was maybe like 3 weeks, and I did something really bad. I can't remember.
It was probably something school related, like with your homework or something like that. Because you were not. While we can say challenging and stuff, Max was not as challenging as a teenager as he was as a small child.
Yes, as a toddler, I was evil.
As
I was
a small child,
evil.
I always make jokes that if Max was my third kid, if he had been my first kid, there never would have been any other kids, because and I have extensive early childhood experience, training, all of that stuff. Like I said, I did in-home daycare, I worked in daycares, I did all of that. Max challenged me like no other.
Yeah.
That was
It's cool. It's funny.
it was such a challenge. Anyways, but we both lived through it. So and that Max's early childhood was an example of why the consistency was so important, because Max was continually testing boundaries.
And if you didn't follow up with something, then I would know, and I would be like,
he'd be off.
Got him, and I would, exactly.
Yeah, he would be.
I was always looking for a little thing to be like, but.
Max was the epitome. Max was the epitome of but.
Yeah.
But what if?
Yeah.
But, and then it was always it was. Can't blame a guy for taking a shot.
Yeah.
Max,
oh yeah, I would ask I would just ask on days and stuff I would just be like, yeah, can I not go to school today and stuff like that.
I'm like, why is that?
Maybe you'll say yes.
No,
okay.
now see, that was one thing that I did, that I think I did right as a parent, was one of the things I did was throughout the school year, there was maybe once, twice, 3 times, whatever, as long as your grades were up, as long as things like that, as long as you were staying on top of things, I allowed what I called a mental health day. I think everybody needs them. I think that they're important, and I especially think that kids need them. And when I say kids, I did it more
when we were older,
when
we were like teenagers
and stuff like that. You know, I knew there were quite a few times, like when your brother would come downstairs, and I knew he was having a really, really stress. The kids went to a
preparatory academy.
It was a college preparatory high school, so it was hard, and it was high pressure and everything else, and they did well in it. But I know I need mental health days, and there's nothing wrong with them. And as long as they weren't abused and stuff like that, then, there were sometimes Max would come out and he'd be like, Mom, can I just have a mental health day today? And I would allow that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you gave me a legit reason why, I would ask why. I would,
right.
It wasn't like...
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
And it wasn't like, hop on the Xbox right now.
No,
come on.
I was always like, what are you going through? What's going on? Is there anything I can help you with?
And you would usually try and get us to, take advantage of, not take advantage of the day to get work done or anything, but, try and get us to, I don't know, figure out why we were stressed out, and spend the day resolving some of that stress and stuff, rather than just whatever.
Yeah.
So that was
every once in a blue moon. It was a whatever day, and I believe everybody. I believe you sometimes you got to do those too. You have to do I'm completely checking out kind of day, and I feel like that is mentally healthy. So, and I felt that it was important for kids too. So, like I said, few and far between. But when they were needed, I feel like they were effective.
I think you and Dad found a very good balance of allowing us to question and grow and explore things, and not in moderation, but you didn't let us. With limitations. You didn't let it, because kids, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Right.
And they'll just keep going.
We did allow you guys to question things.
Yes,
we allowed you to we didn't allow you to be disrespectful.
Exactly, yeah.
You couldn't question in a disrespectful manner.
And it was the consistency in punishing that or not allowing that allowed us to create our own boundaries, and then discover healthy ways of asking questions and stuff like that.
Well, one of the things that I feel like your dad and I did right is that I'm a manager during the weekend. I'm a manager at a restaurant, and I manage. I help manage the whole restaurant, but I also manage the bussers and the hosts. And the majority of them are high school kids, and I've been doing this for years. And And so I do have a lot of experience with teenagers, and one of the things that I do as a manager that I always try to do as a parent, and your dad does it, I feel like your dad has worked at it too, is leading by example. That is one of my main things. So as a manager, I would never, ever, ever ask one of my employees to do something that I was not willing to do myself. So I would never ask one of my employees to work harder than I was willing to work myself. And as a parent, one of the things that we led by example with is speaking respectfully to people is something that I feel that everybody should do. Yeah. So not being a creep is important, and especially as family members, because as family members you have a tendency to treat your family worse than you would treat a perfect stranger.
Right.
You speak to them in a worse way because these are the people that love you, and you know you can get away with it. And we absolutely were not perfect. We were not perfect, but it was something that I led by example by speaking to my husband respectfully, my husband speaking to me respectfully. There were definitely rules when you were angry with each other, and that was because you get angry and stuff like that. There were rules as far as we did not call each other names.
Right.
I don't care how mad you are, you're not going to call. My husband and I could be in a screaming match, and we were not calling each other names.
Right.
So it's that, as long as that is...
Well, respect teaches you values, because it makes you question your own values, and it makes you question if somebody else has those values and if they have earned that respect. And that also teaches you empathy, because it asks you to look deeper into an understanding of a person, and therefore understanding in yourself. So I think that teaching that respect and upholding those values consistently when they were tested is something very important for a child, because with children a lot of times it's kind of like monkey see, monkey do. And if you uphold values consistently through difficult periods, that will be imprinted in that child's mind. And I think that you guys did a very good job of that.
I think that it was also really important that we gave you guys the opportunity, or you knew that you could come to us with your mess.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
And also there was periods of time when we got old enough that you and Dad spoke to us in a manner that was respectful of us. You never said something to us when we were kids that was like, do it because I'm your parent and you just don't understand. You would try to explain it to the best of your ability, and you treated us with a level of respect and empathy as well.
Yeah.
You would discuss things with us in a sense that you knew that we would be able to figure it out ourselves and understand it. And there was moments in my life when I was like 11 or 12 when you would sometimes come to us. You would say, this is why this is happening, and it would be something that was like very large and like a serious matter, but you respected us enough to understand that it affected our lives.
So we had to share it with you.
We didn't explain it to us. Yeah.
We're not a big keeper of secrets.
You didn't sugarcoat things. You were going to keep our secrets. You didn't, and that was another thing, because you always try to impart that you shouldn't lie, even if it's a white lie and everything like that.
Giant with me.
Yeah.
And that is another leading by example. So
yeah, you were consistent in that. If there was something going on and it was obvious that we knew, you wouldn't be like, oh, don't worry about it, you're just kids. You would explain it.
Yeah.
And that was very important. And that goes into the screaming thing as well, where it was like, the screaming didn't really work because it seems like you were like cutting corners. That's obviously not going to work, because then I just want to scream and I'm just angry.
Yeah.
And you're not really resolving anything.
Right.
I remember what really impacted me as a kid is when you would tell me, you would say, I'm disappointed in you for this. Or something like that. That impacted me when my teachers would say that to me. Like, I know you can do better than this. That tells someone that it's positive / negative reinforcement. It's like you are very smart. You have so much potential. You can do this. I know you can.
Yep.
But you know that you're
not putting your best foot forward. And we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
So, yep, that was the leading by example, the lying thing. That was because I am such a stickler for honesty, and I am, and it's something that is, anybody that knows me knows this about me. I couldn't be with my kids. I couldn't be, you need to tell the truth. You need to tell the truth. And yet they're hearing me tell little white lies.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Oh, we'll just tell your teacher you were sick. We'll just tell your dad this. Even that I didn't do those kind of things.
Right.
That was not, because that sends a message. Everything that you do sends a message.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever heard of the Pygmalion effect, I believe it's called?
I know what the Pygmalion effect is, but what are you using in reference to?
It's when you think somebody will act a certain way, so you start treating them
in a certain manner.
And then they act the way that you think they're going to. Like, a good example is that I saw in like a video and everything, it's like there's a coach who thinks one student is going to be very good at basketball and one is going to be very bad, so he gives a ton of attention to the good player to make them really good, and he gives no attention to the bad player, so of course they get worse and demotivated. If you think your child is going to cheat and lie and trick and they don't understand things, they're too stupid to understand things.
Yeah, no, that's awful.
You don't show them the respect to explain a situation because they wouldn't understand if you even tried. Then they're not going to understand a situation.
Right.
They're not going to know the truth. They're not going to know that. They're not going to uphold or respect the truth. They're not going to do any of those things. They're going to act the way that you make them feel.
Well, and to that line of thing, that one of the things I did not do while my kids, especially while my kids were teenagers, is while I had very close and good relationships with them, I was always very close to my kids. I think so. I mean, very loving, very close, everything. I was not their friend.
No, you were never the type of person who was like, yeah, come on, have your friends over. I'm going to buy you guys alcohol and stuff like that. No, it was never that type of thing. It was like, you would let us have friends over and stuff, but if
you
it was
always had friends over.
But it was always, you always imparted a respectfulness on the friends and stuff like that. This time you can do these things. You can
and the friends. It was funny too because because one of my rules with the friends was when you walk into the house, you have to speak to us. You have to speak to me. You have to speak to. So the friends were not allowed to walk in the door and just walk up the stairs.
Yes.
They had to.
Because you're in your house. They're in your house. Your property.
They had. Not just because of that, but because that's what you should do when you come into.
If they're attached to me, they're attached to you in a sense.
It's a good lesson for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you always speak to.
So I think a lot of what you guys did is that you gave us a reason to look deeper into ourselves and an interest in the human experience through respecting it and a want to understand it.
We always tried to, or I always tried, and your dad did too, we always tried to, when we were explaining something to you, we always tried to put it in a way where it was how you were affecting someone else. I would say things to you that, like, a lot of you and Chase fought a lot, everything. And when we would talk about it, I would say, how do you think what you just said to Chase made her feel?
Yeah. It was never just like, you were bad.
No.
Grounded.
No.
It was like, if something goes wrong and you don't attempt to understand it, there's no way you can fix it. Yeah, there's no way you can fix it. So that was something that you imparted a lot on us.
Yeah.
So I honestly think that's why we're here, is because I have a relationship with you that allows me to understand that you're just a person like me too. You're not some massive figure in like an imposing figure. You're not my mom. You are my mom, but you're also Camille.
Correct.
And you've treated me like I'm not just your son, but I am also Max.
Max. Yep.
And I think that is a very important. Oh, sorry about that, everybody. I think that is a very important distinction that people have to get to.
Every one of your kids are. I've always looked at my kids as people that I'd want to know, as people that they are their own separate. And you don't compare your kids as much as you. I never compared Max to Sam, Sam to Chase, anything like that, because holy smokes, are they different. They are absolute and complete and total different people. And one of the last thing I'm going to bring up that I felt like I did really right, and it's because of something that my mom told me. So my mom was the kind of parent that she had some of her issues, everything, but when she was a good parent, she was the best parent. And one of the things that she said to me when the kids were babies, everything, my mom had 7 kids, I had 3, but when the kids were babies, my mom said, never, ever, ever wish a stage away. So a lot of times parents will say things like, especially when you have babies, holy cow, it's so overwhelming. And you'll say things like, oh, I can't wait until they're potty trained. Oh my gosh, I can't wait until they go to school. Oh my gosh, I can't, and that's natural, and every parent does it. But my mom said that, and it really, because she said, your child will never ever be this age again, never. And take advantage of, find something good in every single solitary stage. And that really impacted me, I think that's what got Max through his toddler years, is that I thought, I really, really there were some days where I really had to look for that.
But yes, there was always
But there was, and
there's always a reason like that moment was happening.
And so the same thing is in it's the same thing for when your kids, so never wish your child's life away, but never wish for the past with you. While of course I miss my babies, my little kids, I loved when my kids were little. It was so much fun, everything. I also love when my kids are adults. I love the people that they've become. I love being the parent to the people that they are now.
Yeah, if you want the past or if you want the future, then you are saying that you are disliking the present.
Yeah.
And you're always going to be in the present.
Yeah, you only have the present.
Yeah, exactly. And what you just explained is the movie Click. Is the plot of the movie Click.
Oh, I hated that movie.
That's true. That's the theme of Click.
Okay.
I think that is a very good lesson, and I think that's a good. Oh, I want to say one more thing. It's kind of like the whole thing with treating children with a level of respect. I always think about the fact of there's like people who don't talk to their dogs or like don't talk to their cats, because they think the cat and the dog is too stupid to understand, like...
Then they shouldn't have cats or dogs.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you think a cat or a dog is like a toy or an item that is too stupid to understand, like, the emotion that you're passing on to it, probably shouldn't have a cat or a dog, because you aren't attempting to understand that being. And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, I'm just saying that I think you need to have respect for every type of life, and you need to have empathy for every type of life.
Well, your kids are not your possession. Your kids are not something that you own. Your kids are their own human
experience,
being.
their own being.
They're a gift that you're given, and I believe that. But they're a gift that you were given, but it's not something that you own. It's not something that you possess.
I think it's very important for a lot of parents to realize too, is that kids make their own decisions.
Yes, and you have to let them. You have to let them do that, and sometimes make the wrong one.
Yes, and
that's hard as a parent.
They are in charge of their future and their present, and you cannot control that as hard as you try to box them or anything like that.
You can build a foundation. You can build a foundation.
You can lead by example,
especially when they're teenagers. So you build that. So when they're small children, you build the foundation, and then when they're teenagers, and you have less and less. Geez Louise, when they start driving, but you have less and less and less control over them. You basically all you can do is hope and pray that you built a solid foundation.
Is that you are somebody that if. You have to be somebody that we're around you so much that we want to pick up your traits.
Yeah.
We don't want to deny the things that you have taught us. We want,
cool.
we want to be like you because
cool.
Exactly.
All right.
So I think that was a good talk. I think that
is a good talk.
I love my mom.
I love my son. He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
You're a good mom.
So anyways, in closing, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the fun things.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of you. And don't forget, come back and see us next Monday. Every Monday. We're releasing every Monday right around 5 o'clock. So,
and we might start doing new types of videos coming up soon here. We might. We never
know. See. We're gonna, one thing we are gonna have in a couple of weeks is Max's brother is gonna come on, make a special guest appearance. Sam, he's gonna join us for a chat about some tips and tricks, some things that he's done to help him deal with stress and stuff like that lately, and some good ideas that he had. I thought they were kind of cool. So that's one of the things that we're going to do in the future. So also, if you have any ideas, share them down below. Let us know. We always like to take ideas. So all right.
Cool.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, friends.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.